Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll begin in a minute or two as there are still more people logging on. So we'll give everyone a chance to get settled before we begin. Thank you again for joining us. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Carahsoft Technology and our partners, Wiiisdom, SAP, Protiviti, and CBeyond Data, I'd like to welcome you to our Business Objects Virtual Summit. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. The audio portion of this webinar can be heard through your speakers, and all other lines have been muted to control the background noise. If you would like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer those questions during our dedicated Q&A time at the end of each session. This webinar is being recorded and will be accessible from the link sent out in the follow-up email. If you are interested in earning CPE credits, please ensure you are participating in the polling questions, as these are used to determine the amount of credits you will receive. To tell you a little bit about Carahsoft, we are your trusted government IT solutions provider serving the federal, state, and local government, as well as healthcare and education. Carahsoft maintains dedicated teams to support sales and marketing for all of our vendors. Our representatives' information will be available at the end of this presentation, so please do not hesitate or call us at any moment. Once again, thank you all for joining us. Speaking today will be Bruno. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Ben. So anyway, good morning, everyone. This is Bruno with Wiiisdom. I'm super excited to be with all of you today. The fact is, I see that over 200 people have registered today for this user group. So it looks like it's we're going to have quite a few people today, and we're going to have a lot of fun all together. So for the topics that we've got coming today, we've got different topics. So the topic number one that we're going to talk about is going to be about the BI roadmap. So where we are today in terms of version, and then of course, what are the next versions with the BI 2025 and beyond. The next session will be about how to connect Webby to Excel with OData, and then we'll also even do a presentation on how to connect Webby with Power BI. Following that, we'll have an interactive sessions about, essentially about what you need to do to be ready for BI 2025. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. After that, we'll have another session about leveraging BI on the cloud. Then the following session will be how to convert multi-source UNXs to single source, including multi-connection. So this is a very hot topic with BI 2025 because UNVs are end of life. Following that, we'll have a session about DataSphere. And then finally, the two last sessions will be pretty much to educate new persons coming to the community about how to design a Webby and how to build a universe. All the sessions as well will be on our YouTube channel. So feel free to go to YouTube and then Wiiisdom, and then you will get all the content later on. In terms of speakers today, so I'll be the moderator for the entire event. I have the phenomenal JFK on today. JF, you want to say a couple words?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Glad to be here.
And then JF also is based in Arizona, so and he's been doing BI for a couple of years. So, and then we have the excellent Gregory Boticcio joining us from Paris, France.
Yes, indeed. So welcome, everyone. I'm really happy to be with you all today in order to share with you the latest information regarding business objects, of course. Thanks for welcoming me.
And then we're super happy to have you, Gregory.
Thank you.
Things about the roadmap. And then we've got the phenomenal Nathan Truand.
Hello, yes. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here today. help you all out and present on DataSphere and to help panelists.
Okay, and then we also have the exceptional Patrick Niesmith today from Protiviti. Patrick will be joining just after. And then finally, I mean, the least, but actually the most important, Keith Johnson today from CB Data.
Welcome, everybody, from the nation's capital. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you very much for joining today. So, hey, anyway, the first session is all about getting the latest information from Gregory about what SAP is doing for business objects for current version, and then, of course, for the future. Before we pass it over to Gregory, I've actually got a first poll I'd like to do. What SAP business version are you on? So if Shane, if you can share that to the screen. Essentially here, we want to know, are you in 3.1 still? Are you in 4.1? Are you in 4.2? Are you in 4.3? So I don't know if actually the poll is being seen by everyone. I can't see that screen, but if somebody can, Shane, if you can confirm that to me.
Yep, the poll is live.
Okay, the poll is live. So essentially here we want to know, are you in 3.1? Are you in 4.1? Are you in 4.2? Are you in 4.3? So we're gonna to close that poll very shortly, and then after that we'll have a couple of other polls about UNVs, but that's actually pretty good to know. Also, as always, please feel free to ask questions in the comments, and then we'll do our best to answer to all the questions during the event, and if we can't, we'll get back to you after the event. So thank you. Let's close that first poll and see the results. Okay, so here, well, the good thing is no one's in 3.1, which that's kind of always surprising. We didn't put anything about 4.0, that's been dead for a long time. Then 4.1, okay, we got 2%, then 4.2, we have 44%. Actually, it's higher than I expected. And with 4.3, there's actually 54%. So and by the way, for everyone that is actually in 4.2, there is one thing that is really important to know is there's a lot of changes with BI 2025, and don't wait for the UNV to UNX. If there is an issue like a log4j or so, you might be forced to upgrade a lot faster than expected. So it's good to be ready for that. Gregory, I'll pass it over to you, and if you can share your screen.
Of course. Let me test.
I will let you know as soon as I see your screen, Gregory. Okay, we see your screen. If you can go in presenter mode.
Of course. Hold on.
There we are. Let's go.
Okay, let's start. So welcome everyone again. I'm really happy to be with you all today. I'm going to share with you what's going on regarding SAP Business Objects in the near future. And by future, you have to understand the next couple of years. As usual, the legal disclaimer, everything I'm going to share with you can be changed without any notification. So this is done. So let's start. First thing, you might all know now, or if not, you're going to learn it by me. The latest version of the SAP Analytics Business Intelligence Statement of Direction has been released last week. And this document is super important because inside this document, we describe what is the future of SAP Business Objects. And what you have on the screen is, in fact, the translation in one slide of the main information contained into the latest version of SAP Business of the SAP Analytics Statement of Direction. What do we have on the screen? So let me close a few things here. Okay, this is a timeline representing the different versions at your disposal today with the way we're going to support them. First of all, BI 4.2, let's start with the top. And I'm going to use my laser pointer to emphasize a few things. BI 4.2 POT1 support some of you are still in BI 4.2. I think it's more than time to upgrade to the BI 4.3. BI 4.3, the mainstream maintenance is planned until the end of December 2025, and BI 4.3 will have 2 years of P1 support until the end of 2027. BI 4.3, we released the Service Pack 4 last December 2023. We're going to release another Service Pack. It will be the last Service Pack for BI 4.3, the Service Pack 5. The Service Pack 5 for BI 4.3 is planned, let's say, around Q1, Q2 2025 next year, and it will be the last one. You all know that we will have a successor to BI 4.3, code name. Well, it was BI2025, but finally this is a real name. SAP Business Objects BI2025 is planned for end of this year. And what you did not know till now, but which is really new for all of you now, and this is the meaning of the 2 lines here and the square in bracket. We are changing a little bit the way we will support our product starting the BI 2025. So first of all, first thing, BI 2025 will be in mainstream maintenance for 3 years. Then it will enter a new area called customer-specific maintenance. After we release the BI 2025, we can already tell you that 2 years after this release, we will have the BI 2027. Yes, period. I can tell you that we will have a new version 2 years after the BI 2025. In fact, the plan is the following one. We will deliver a new release, code name, for example, BI25, BI27. So you just have to add 2 more years to guess the next release after the BI 2027 every 2 years. So that's the big change. Instead of waiting, I don't know, every 4 years when we say, okay, we had the BI 4.3 and sometimes 4 years after the release of BI 4.3, we plan to deliver, let's say, BI 4.4 in, I don't know, 26. We decided to make things predictable. So now every 2 years, we're going to deliver a new release, BI 2025 being the first thing. Second thing, the mainstream maintenance change. Now this is no longer 5 years, it is 3 years. During the 3 years, the following things are going to happen. During the 2 first years, we're going to deliver patch at a certain period of time. Patch contain bug fixes. And 1 year after the release of the BI 2025, we're going to deliver a business pack right in the middle between the BI 2025 and the next release BI 27, right in the middle. A business pack will contain mostly bug fixings, quality things, but also small innovations. So in a nutshell, you are not going to wait 2 years to get new innovations. Innovations will happen, for example, in the BI 2025, of course, in the BI 2027, in the middle with the business patch. So 1 year after the release of the BI 2025 or 1 year after the release of the BI 2027, the business patch will contain bugs plus small innovations. So you have to understand the difference between big innovations and small innovations. Big innovation is something really new. Things that you ask us for years that takes a certain of time to be delivered. Small innovations is okay. That's something that we can deliver really quickly. Something that concerns the user interface or a small cumulative enhancements on an existing functionality. This is the meaning of the business patch. And that's it, right? Every 2 years, a new release. We support as part of the mainstream during 3 years. Then we enter the customer-specific maintenance, where what it means? It means that we'll continue to support you. We will look at any issue you might find in the product. What you're going to do with our funding, it would mean that if there is a solution, we will propose you to go to the next release. If not, we'll try to fix it, but in the next release, not on your current release. And that's a big difference.
So Gregory, this is
Yes.
really phenomenal because I see on this roadmap here, it's clear that SAP is investing into BobJ. Of course, you're seeing BI 2025 that we've talked about, and then we're going to get some more details today. And there are a lot of exciting new business functionalities. And then I see, SAP is still investing with BI 2027. And then what's interesting as well is, of course, you see after that Beyond, it's still continuing. So that is really good for the entire community because there should be no doubt anymore about the investment. So it's going on. And the fact that we have over 200 people today means that the community is actually strong. So that's really very good news for the entire community. Thank you very much for sharing that, Gregory.
Thank you very much, Bruno, for that. Yeah, this is clear. We continue to invest, and you will see that with the content of the BI 2025 in a few seconds. Okay, so that's the big news, right? This new statement of direction with a new support and maintenance strategy starting with the BI 2025. We will continue with the BI 2027, and guess what? 2 years after the 2027, something should happen again. That's the reason why we have this small bracket here. But let's go one step at a time. Okay, let's move on. BI 2025 and this new support and maintenance strategy, we already let you know that we want to rationalize the content of the BI suite, meaning that some products that you have today in BI 4.3 will not be shipped with the BI 2025 and so on, which means that if you want to continue to use this tool, you have to stay with the BI 4.3 until the end of maintenance of the BI 4.3, for instance. But once we move to BI 2025, some components, some tool will not be part of the story of this journey, so you have to prepare yourself. And the picture here is to explain to you, this is also for the benefit of everybody, for the community in terms of supportability and maintenance, meaning that on the left, you have the picture, the footprint of the actual BI 4.3. That's huge, many things to support, many things to maintain, many things to take care of. With the BI 2025, which is on the right, smaller footprint, because there is a reason for that. We invest on the things that you are all using. We invest on the things that matter to all of you. That's also the reason why we decided to minimize the number of tools and components that you're going to support starting BI 2025. And in fact, you have here everything listed on the list, right? The things you're going to invest in and on starting BI 2025 are listed here. Analysis for Office, Lumira Designer, and I'd like to be clear regarding Lumira Designer. When I said invest on, it means only in the case of Lumira Designer that Lumira Designer is part of the BI 2025 story. It doesn't mean that you're going to invest in terms of new functionality. That's the only exception. For Lumira Designer, this is just to make sure that our customers using Lumira Designer can continue to use this tool, but with BI 2025. And that's it. This tool is almost in maintenance, I would say. Part of the BI 2025 story. The tools we invest on, Web Intelligence, Crystal Report, IDT, and the Unix universes, and of course the BI platform and the BI Launchpad.
So in terms of Gregory, in terms of what SAP will continue to support. So I see, of course, I see Crystal.
Yes.
And I know sometimes there's some confusion, so you might want to explain the difference. So what is the difference between Crystal Report Enterprise and Crystal Report or Crystal Report Classic, I would say? So sometimes there is some confusion on what are the differences.
Okay, of course. Crystal Report Classic is a desktop version of Crystal. Crystal Report Enterprise is a web version of Crystal, but with some additional functionalities that you do not have on the desktop. For instance, with Crystal Report Enterprise, you can create reports on top of Unix universes, for example. So that's the main differences. Same purpose, but the way you use the tool are different. One is a desktop tool, one is a web tool, and for the web tool, you have access to the Unix. And you're right, with the BI 2025, we're going to stop Crystal Report for Enterprise, which means that this is not part of the BI 2025 stories. And the things we are trying to do, or the team is doing, is to propose you alternatives. For example, for Crystal Report for Enterprise, the alternative is, of course, Crystal Report. If you have built Crystal Report document for Enterprise using the .unix connectivity, guess what? Crystal Report Classic will get the .unix connectivity as well in the near future. And of course, the second tool we recommend is Web Intelligence, but in this case, we will have to start from scratch and recreate everything. So my point is, for all the tools which are not part of the BI 2025 story, we propose you alternative, which are listed here. For example, for Lumira Discovery, the alternative is SAP Analytics Cloud. But now I would like to let you know that Web Intelligence can also be an alternative to Lumira Discovery starting BI 2025. For Crystal Report, we already mentioned this in a few seconds, right? For Analyzer Lab, alternative is Data Analyzer in SAP Analytics Cloud. For LiveOffice, the add-on for Microsoft Excel, alternative can be two things. Alternative can be SAP Analysis for Microsoft Office, or the Web Intelligence or Data Access. I'm going to show you a quick demo at the end of this presentation, what I mean by alternative for LiveOffice using the OData Access with Excel. For SAP Business Objects Mobile, if you are using the app being on an iOS or on Android, the alternative is to use a web browser on the mobile devices. I recently published a blog explaining why the web browser on your mobile device can be an alternative, because since the BI4.3 Service Pack 3, we did enhancement to the interface, to the web interface. The web interface is responsive now on some devices such as iPhone or Android phone. Now the most important part, universes and .unv. We're going to stop this with the BI 2025, so they are not part with, they're not provided with the universes of .unv are not part of BI 2025. The alternative is, of course, the .unix. Wiiisdom and Carsoft, I'm sure, can help you a lot in converting all the UNV in .unix and making sure that all your reports are pointing massively to the new universes. So that's the main things you have to know. You still have time, right? We will continue to support .unv universes as long as the BI 4.3 is supported. But if you want to move to BI 2025, you have to understand that .unv will not be part of BI 2025. So you have to convert your .unv and .unix before. And last but not least, if you have .unix using the multi-source functionality, the multi-source, so the MSU type Unix universes are not part of the BI 2025. As an alternative, we propose you to use the data mode or the data blending functionality, which is already delivered inside Web Intelligence starting BI 4.3 Service Pack 3. So that's one solution. The second solution is to build the multi-source, to use the multi-source capability of your favorite database. And for the two last lines, so being the conversion, bulk conversion of .unv into Unix and repointing the Web Intelligence document from UNV to .unix, or transforming your Unix multi-sources universe, so MSU universes, into a multitude of .unix. I'm thinking Wiiisdom have great things to propose to all of you. right?
Yeah.
And you have something on the agenda today for that.
Yes, yes, definitely. And then we'll talk, that's the topic of a session. So as you say, clearly, when you go to BI 2025, you need to be in UNX, but you need to be with single source UNXs.
Indeed, exact.
And for customers actually that had converted to UNX and that have selected multi-source, we actually have a solution. I believe we're the only ones on the market to have that, where we can actually convert your multi-source single connections UNXs, or we can, if you have some multi-source multi-connection UNXs, there's also ways that we can support you. It's a little bit more techy, but we will have a session on that later today. And Gregory, I just take this opportunity to have a second poll about UNVs to UNX, so to know if the audience actually has converted their UNVs or not to UNX. So Shane, if you can launch the second poll on that. And it is critical to know that, of course, you need to convert your universes, but when you convert your universes, it does not repoint automatically your Webby documents to UNX. So it's something that needs to be done manually. That's also very, it's a very manual process. So that's one of the reasons as well. 360 Suite is very popular. So here, the goal of the question is, have you fully converted and repoint your UNV to UNX? Yes, no, and it's a multiple choice answer. So, okay, so let's check the results of the poll and see where this is at. Shane, would you mind showing the results? So, hey, that is actually quite interesting. So 50%
Yes.
than the job. So I'm actually pretty surprised. But if you consider that about the same portion of people, I should have asked actually which version at the same time people are on, but I think that would be very much in line with the fact that a lot of people are still in 4.2. So anyway, we'll definitely, thank you very much. Well, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on.
Gregory, yep.
Okay, yep. So now that you know the most important information contained into the SAP Analytics Statement of Directions, let's have a look at the BI 2025. So for this release, which is really important for us and for you, I presume, we invest in three main areas. So the first one is how can we reach more business users? How can we improve our tool to touch more users of the business objects community? And not only the users part of the business object community, but all the others, the ones that are the tendency to look at other tools. Second area of investment, how can we increase the end user productivity? By end user, I mean the power user. How can we improve the experience of web engines, for instance, and make sure that every time we provide the Webby tool into the hand of a new user, this user is able to create something really awesome in less than 5 minutes, for example, and in a total autonomy. So that's the objective we gave to ourselves regarding the second bucket. Priority number 3. Reduce total cost of ownership. What can we do to make sure that every time you're going to do an update or an upgrade, that this is as smooth as possible? How can we make sure, for example, that all the time you spend to configure your cluster, your business object deployment, how can you make sure that all the settings you have put in place are preserve and reuse for the next update and upgrade? So that's really important. And we show you what we think can be the solution here.
And
okay,
Gregory, on the cost of ownership, what's extremely interesting is that years ago, 5 years, 10 years ago, whatever, is everybody was all complaining, hey, BobJ is expensive, etc. That was something that we would hear, in a very consistent manner. And actually, it's something I have not heard actually for some time, because nowadays, if you actually compare the total cost of ownership between BobJ and other data viz solutions that are popular on the market, not to mention any names, if you put all the costs together, actually, it
No,
is very common
that's not.
that
No.
BobJ is actually cheaper now than that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
uh,
I'm not allowed to make this kind of comment, but I'm glad you did it. But yes, you're right.
no,
I'm hearing some from several partners. They are telling me exactly the same thing. And moreover, which is great, when customers realize that the cloud story is indeed quite interesting, but when they do the sum and the math, I have customers who decide to go back to business objects.
yeah, it's the same where we've actually seen in the past year people reinvesting actually in BobJ exactly because of the cost of ownership. But also another thing is, yes, there are great solutions to build dashboards, but of course the management needs dashboards, but people that are more in terms of operational, they actually need
Yep.
reports where Webby is very strong on. So yes.
Yep. Yep. And that's a good transition because I'm going to share with you now what you did for Webby inside the BI 2025 in the details. Once again, here we have 3 main priorities, but you're right. That's the meaning of the first priority we have for Webby here. Webby is really good at transactional reporting. What about making it really good now at analytical reporting? And guess what? That's what we are doing with BI 2025 for Web Intelligence. That's the priority number 1. Let your end user create engaging dashboard thanks to new dynamic visualizations. So that's the priority number 1 for Webby inside the BI 2025. Priority number 2, how can we reach new users? How can we provide Webby to new users in an easy way? And by new user, I mean the users part of the business objects community, but the one that are outside the business objects community who have never heard about business objects, who do not want to pay a license for business objects, for instance. And I will explain, this is quite interesting. Lastly, how can we enhance the efficiency of our users, being a new user, being a beginner, or our existing user, our professional users, the ones that spend, let's say, their day creating report on Web Intelligence. So that's the 3 main priorities we have for Webby. I'm going to detail them. Okay, I still have time. Priority number 1, so like I said, we would like to provide you, to let your end user create analytical reports really easily inside Web Intelligence. So like I said, Webby is really strong at transactional reporting, paginated report. So now guess what? Starting BI 2025, inside Webby, inside the tool, we will inject new capabilities to let all the users to create dashboard, but really dynamic dashboard. So really what we want to achieve here is really evident, right? We want to unlock the creativity with a dedicated dashboard creation area inside Web Intelligence. So to achieve that, we propose you new canvas that will match exactly the size of the screen, being 16:9, being 4:3, and even your mobile devices. It doesn't matter what is the device you're going to use to consume your dashboard. The dashboard has to work perfectly on any screen size.
Yeah, and Gregory, that's great because that's been a comment for a lot of users, where of course, the way that people consume analytics has changed, and of course, it's definitely a lot more mobile than in the past. So the fact to have like 16:9 or whatever, it basically fits pretty much all the
Exactly.
screen size. So it's a big deal, and of course, it's got to adapt without regressions, etc. So that's really a big deal.
Yeah. And moreover, in addition to all of this, we propose a new visualization. So in order to create visual, compelling storytelling, compelling visualization, we will provide you with new viz, dynamic viz based on SAP UI5, which is an SAP library. You can all have a look right now by typing Google SAP UI5. It will propose you a website where you can discover the type of visualizations Webby will propose with. So it means that next, all your existing reports will work as is, but if you want to give them a boost in terms of interactivity, in terms of visualizations, we'll propose you, in addition to all of the things you have already in your hands, new viz, such as the maps you have on the screen, such as input controls, filters, but inside your dashboard, not in the menu bar, inside your dashboard to play with, and some other things that you will be more than happy to discover when you will see the first demo of BI 2025. I'm pretty sure in another webinar with you all. So that's the first objective. The second objective, I already mentioned it. How can we provide Webby to new users, and specifically users who do not have access to business objects until now? So this is really something powerful, and we really believe this is a game changer. In fact, what it is about today, you all your business objects community can access to a PDF, but a PDF file is static. Let's imagine that you propose you a PDF file, but with interactivities. That's all what it is about. We'll propose you a new Web Intelligence format called the Web Intelligence Offline Artifact, which is a Webby document containing data, containing visualization, containing interactivities in one file. But this file is completely autonomous. You do not need any Web Intelligence desktop. You do not need any business objects access to consume this file. Once this file is generated, you just need one browser to open it, and that's it. You are in a complete autonomy. And this works unlimited, right? This is completely free, right? Like I said, this is a kind of PDF, but with interactivities. Once it is generated, you can share it with whoever need access a kind of interactive document to play with to run this business.
Hey, Gregory, will
Yes.
that so since that PDF will be interactive, essentially.
It's a kind of, but it's not a PDF. I use
No.
this is an analogy, right? But in fact, we provide you with excuse me, an HTML5 that will contain everything. And once this HTML5 is generated, you can put it and share it via an email. You can share it via an FTP server. You can put it on Microsoft OneDrive or Google OneDrive or on a file system, even on your internal or external website.
Well, that's good.
And with no additional cost, because this is completely detached from the business objects backend, from the business object desktop tool, completely autonomous.
But basically, to have that, you will, of course, need to have a BobJ license.
Yes, to generate it, you need one BobJ license. But to consume it, you need nothing. You just need a browser.
And Gregory, behind there will be data, right? That will be
yes, interactive. Which will be one dashboard with all the data needed to display information, your KPIs, and all the interactivities. This is not static. You can play with it.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
That's good. Priority number 3. I'm checking the time, 10 minutes left. Okay. Priority number 3, like I said, we want to improve efficiency for all our users, which means that we want to accelerate the business report delivery thanks to a new user-friendly interface for all our users, being beginners or experts. What does it mean? It means that we are changing a little bit again the business objects interface, and we are introducing one new things, which is the left panel that will contain all the new widgets that we introduce thanks to the priority number 1 that I just mentioned, the dashboard capabilities. So we will propose you a new left frame that will contain the kind of information. And if we introduce the left frame, we will change a little bit the, let's say, the way you're going to create your report, meaning that this left frame will contain not only the new widgets, it will contain also all the data sources you can access. It will contain also all the canvas you can use to create your dashboard. And it will be orchestrated in a step-by-step way for the new user. When you start, most of the time, you have to choose, excuse me, a data source. So you have to pick up one data source in the list. Then when you have selected the data source, you will create your query. This step doesn't change. Then once you get the query, you'll select if you want a report or if you want a dashboard. And once you have done this, the tool will propose you to select one representation, being a chart or a table, and so on and so on. So that's what I mean by new things to help the users, being beginners or experts, to create their very first dashboard very easily. If you do that, on top of that, you will enhance a few things around interactivities, but also the formatting as well. Okay, that's the three main things we are planning for business for Web Intelligence as part of the BI 2025. Of course, there is additional things we will look at after the BI 2025. What you have planned in the middle is everything I just mentioned. That's the individual list of innovations as part of BI 2025. In the future, meaning BI 2027 and next, we are looking at better scripting capabilities for business objects, advanced ad hoc query preparation for web intelligence in the data mode, dynamic canvas, I mean a responsive canvas for your report, and a cohesive look and feel thanks to new theme creation and templates inside Web Intelligence. That's the things we are planning for Web Intelligence. Now, speaking about the BI platform, of course, you have three main priorities here as well. First one is simplify migration project. The second one is additional support of standard authentication protocols. And the last but not least, how can you make sure that you can access immediate information, the information that matter to all of you immediately when you log in the BI Launchpad, for example. So the two first priorities here are listed here. Simplify the migration project is how to make sure that we leverage all your existing installation and settings, and how we can have a pre and post installation application server, just to let you choose. Standard authentication protocols is how to make sure that everything which are new in terms of security standard, in terms of new authentication, are supported with the BI platform. Priority number 3, how can we access immediate information that matter for your business user? This is what you have on the screen here. This is a mock-up. How can we make sure that, in fact, that every time you log into the BI Launchpad, we do not propose a list of tiles that represent document, but a tile that represents a KPI that you need to run your business. And every time you click on a tile, it will open the corresponding report where the style is inserted in. So in fact, this is a way to propose KPI that are important to all of you, but instead of opening the report to understand the KPI is immediately available inside the BI Launchpad, and they are, of course, up to date, interactive when you log in. So that's what you are planning for the BI Launchpad as part of the BI 2025. Of course, you have additional things for the future, enhancements for the scheduling, for example, improve the BI Launchpad search with alerts, improve the control and monitoring tool, better deploy the BI platform in virtual environment. Here we are looking at Kubernetes, for example, which is a way to orchestrate some services being in the cloud or on-premise. I think that's a solution you should invest in if you want really to scale your BI platform usage easily. And last but not least, how can you integrate some BTP services directly inside your business objects platform? So BTP services is SAP services in the cloud that are pre-built services that every SAP customer can consume and access. There is a lot of interesting things as part of the SAP BTP services. Here, what we would like to make sure is that if there is one BTP service that you have identified that you would like to reuse with the business objects, guess what? You can enable some bridges between SAP BTP service and your business objects deployment.
And how about the Crystal? Okay, here it is.
Here it is for Crystal. Here we have three main priorities of different magnitude. The enables the move to a strategic stack by providing more connection capabilities. This is mostly to make sure that Crystal report desktop remain relevant. Or can we reach more casual users with better desktop viewer performance? This is about the desktop viewers that we will propose to all of you. And increase the user productivity with the RESTful SDK. I'm going not to mention this one, only to focus on the two first one. The first one is, because like you said, we're going to stop Crystal Report Enterprise. We want all of you to move back to Crystal Report Desktop. In order to enable this move, there is one thing that to make sure that will work is accelerate more Crystal Report 2025 with a new BW DSL driver. That's the first one. And the second one is to make sure that Crystal Report BI 2025 works on relational Unix universes. So for this, it is all about providing a new query panel on .unix universes, but for Crystal Report Desktop. That's the main innovations. Second one, if you want to touch more user, this is the opportunity to provide a Crystal Report viewer purified for your users. Right, that's what we're going to provide. That's what we're going to invest in, and that's it. Right, regarding Crystal, that's all the different things we are planning for it. And of course, Crystal has its own roadmap, specifically for the future. Additional Crystal Report Desktop SDKs, further connectivity capabilities made available, and we will look at if it is needed, simplify the move for Crystal Report Enterprise to Crystal Report being 2025 or 2027.
Okay.
And that's more or less, that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you regarding the BI 2025 in a nutshell.
So just a couple questions that we
Please.
have here. So we've got one question from Nimi that I see is can we convert Crystal Report to Webby?
No, we cannot. Today, this will be a manual task.
Yeah, it's two different products. It's quite different, and it's always tricky to do one to the other. So that's definitely. We have another question from Lionel, who's asking, is AI expected to be included in BI 2025?
No. AI is an interesting topic. We are actively looking at it, what you should do for our business objects community. If you have some idea, share it with us, because we are open to listen to your requirement. Last but not least, regarding AI integration, in my previous slide regarding the platform, I mentioned that we have this BTP service integration here. Guess what? Artificial intelligence is a SAP BTP service. So, which means that if you have a need as a company to integrate kind of AI with business objects for a specific use case, we should be ready to answer to these questions, to this need, starting BI 2027, thanks to the integration of BTP services with business objects. So that will be our answer to these questions. Not in BI 2025, mostly starting BI 2027, not by default, but case by case, but via the SAP BTP service integration. Does it answer the question?
Yep. We got another question from Ken. He says, BobJ 2025 looks awesome. Will anybody from SAP be presenting BobJ 2025 at Sapphire?
No, I
I'm
don't
not
think
aware.
so. I don't think so. But if you go to the analytics booth, and ask for it, please do so.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that. So that would be really good. And then of course we'll be doing an event later this year about BI 2025 with Gregory and the rest of SAP. We got a question from Joseph. If we are using Crystal Report Enterprise using UNX universes, and your future plans are to have the ability to convert them, what would you recommend in terms of a migration plan?
That's a tricky questions. I would say here you have beasts who can do more or less the same, even if starting BI 2025, we are giving a boost to Webby thanks to the new dashboarding capabilities. And on top of that, Webby include